thank you, Sarah, and it's a great honor to be here yet again in support of another war resister, in support of Rodney, and to stand in solidarity with him in his quest to remain in Canada. I have to say that New Democrats have said for a long time that Canada made the right decision in refusing to participate in the war in Iraq, that the Chrétien government did a good thing and the right thing in making that decision. But since then, we've needed to struggle with the full implications of that decision. And one of the implications of that decision is to make sure that there's a welcome for people of conscience from the United States who've refused to serve in that unjust and illegal war. We've needed a program here in Canada that would allow them to remain in Canada, to have permanent residence in Canada, and as one of the implications of taking that principled stand that Canada took. We've managed to have Parliament make a statement about that twice, in the 39th Parliament, in the last Parliament, and in the current Parliament. A concurrence motion in a committee report that came from the Standing Committee on Citizenship and Immigration that called for a special program for war resistors to be instituted by the Government of Canada that would allow them to remain in Canada, and also called for all deportation action to be halted against those who are already here in Canada. The majority of members of the House of Commons supported that report, that committee report, concurrence in that committee report on 2 occasions now. And I think the Conservative government needs to respect the will of Parliament, the will of the elected representatives of Canadians, and act in light of that. I think too, Canadians are clearly in support of the decision not to participate in the war in Iraq. Canadians know how we've benefited from the migration, from the people of conscience who've come to this country over the centuries, over the decades. We need to only look to the period in the Vietnam War, when so many, 100,000 Americans came to Canada because of their beliefs their belief that it was an unjust war, and the contribution that those folks have made here to Canada. People of conscience should have a welcome in Canada. We know they make an important contribution to this country. And that's why, over the course of many years now, New Democrats have supported the Iraq war resistors. It's why earlier this summer, the NDP MPs here in British Columbia wrote to both Minister Kenney, the Citizenship and Immigration Minister, and Mr. Van Loan, the Public Safety Minister, to urge them to cease all deportation action against Rodney and to allow him to remain here in Canada. And we'll continue to advocate for that. These ministers should act, respect the will of Parliament, respect the opinion of Canadians, respect the decision made by Canada not to participate in the war in Iraq. Thank you.